Hey. So we're going to jump over now to section 4, which is a section given to Joseph Smith Sr. After all this had gone on and Joseph was feeling a little bit deflated, a little bit overwhelmed. Emma had sadly just lost their first child and was not well and was distraught and probably had postnatal depression. I've seen mothers lose their children, and I've lost kids too, so I get it. I'm just feeling, just generally, just like, you're supposed to, how we all have those moments where you're just like, you wanted me to do this, and all this happened. How am I supposed to do what you want, Heavenly Father, when you keep making all this bad stuff happen? And it's really hard to sort of see that it actually is for our learning, and it's really not until years later, and maybe not even, as Elder Holland would say, into eternity, that we find out why. So don't be too distraught about it. Like, try and keep up, try and keep working, get going again, let that sunshine in, let that light in, try. It's incredibly difficult, I know. And no one really knows the extent of it, but you and Jesus Christ. He understands it. But I just wanted to point out, section 4 is given to Joseph Smith Sr. because he's basically come to Joseph Smith and said, because at this point he hasn't really, he supported his son, hasn't really supported the Book of Mormon. So this is kind of cool where he comes to his son and just he's basically saying, what can I do to help? Which is lovely that a father would do that, and how supportive his parents were, and awesome parents. But I just wanted to point out here, you can read, this is Saints, this is chapter 5, page 59, but it actually says here, see, Joseph Smith Sr. had come back from a trip to Harmony with a revelation declaring that the Lord was about to begin a marvelous work. Right? That's in there. And oh my gosh, what does section 4 say? Now behold a marvelous work. Making the connection? Okay, hopefully that helps you. Because a lot of people are just like, I don't really get it. And I'm like, well, that might help. Okay, so section 4, verse 3 is what we're going to focus on. Although 2 is really good to point out that if you are going to serve the Lord, then you need to do it with all your heart, might, mind, and strength, with everything you have. You cannot do it as a fence sitter. You cannot do it as a sort of person or a serve two masters kind of person. It just doesn't work. You need to be all in. Those who sit half in, half out constantly have problems, and maybe not as severe as Martin Harris, but that was his dilemma as well. He was sort of in, sort of not. So yeah, you've got to be in with everything. Okay. So verse 3 says, therefore, if ye have desires to serve God, ye are called to the work. So if you want to be called to the work, have a desire to serve God. That's it. You don't have to have any college degrees, any, fabulous, recognizable talents. You don't have to be the world's best tap dancing, swimmer, juggling acrobat or anything. No. You just have to have a desire to serve God. So that's how we get called to the work. Oh, I bumped the stand. There we go. Sorry about the jigglies. So how do we get called to the work? We have a desire to serve God, by asking, what is it that you would have me do? Because this is what Joseph Smith Sr. had come and said, what is it that I can do to help? And in asking Joseph, he had also declared to Heavenly Father, what is it that you want me to do to help? And section 4 goes on to tell exactly what that is, which is one of the best missionary sections. And those missionaries out there that have been on there or come across missionaries talking, this is one they love a lot, because it talks about, this is Heavenly Father talking to a farmer, talking about a field that's white and ready to harvest, talking to a wheat farmer about a field that's white and ready to harvest. So, yeah, right. Okay, so tells them how and how to do it. And again, in verse 7 talks pretty much what James 1:5 says, which is what Joseph Smith started in the whole place, and this is another reiteration of it, is ask and you shall receive, knock and it shall be opened unto you. And that's the same for us now. If you want to know, if you want to figure it out, if you're like relying on yourself, don't. Ask. And knock on that door, pound that door down and ask, plead, beg, and it'll be made known unto you. Thankfully, we don't have to go to that much extent. We can just literally knock and ask politely, and we generally understand it. But sometimes you might need a bit harder. But there you go. So what is it that you would have me do? Okay, so for me, I ask the Lord this every day. What would you have me do? And for this year, it's been continuing to do these Come Follow Me insights. So hopefully you're enjoying those. You know, as I say, any time that you want to give improvements or comments, then just go ahead. The 365 messages of hope, that's going well. I still need a whole lot more of you to do that. So if you want to be part of that, DM me, please, please, please. It is going up on Instagram as like an online art installation. Not particularly art, but it is a type of art. And I think when you see them all together as I have, it's pretty cool. Yeah, that's going really well. And I really do need more people for that. I'm like, yeah, I know 365 people, and then suddenly I had no friends. So, you know, hey. I didn't want that photo taken. Okay. And then there's, although, I gotta say, some people have been very supportive of it, so thank you. Teach myself. So I've got to continue to educate myself because I don't have the resources or the money or the ability within my construct of mental and physical health issues to go to university or an education type thing. And I could take some stuff online, I suppose. It's not really the kind of thing I want to learn, and what is the things I want to learn are not available to take online. So I'm just going to educate myself, and that was one of those things of what can I do was continue to educate yourself. So that means I read a lot. That means I watch a lot of YouTube instructional videos. It means I follow some people on Instagram that talk a lot about nutrition and exercise, because that's what I really want to learn about. I want to know how to do all that. So that's one of them. Grow my talents, which pretty obvious, and for the talents I do know, but then there maybe discover some I don't, and that's a continual thing that I do every day. Serve others, and of course that's just something I love doing, and that's just a few. So that's just some ideas. All right, the quote from this is from Elder Rasband, and he said, "If we let the Lord know in our morning prayers that we are ready, he will call on us to respond. If we respond, he will call on us time and time again." So that's absolutely true. And I love that because I want to be called upon. You remember Joseph Millett that we talked about last year? I want to be called upon. I hope Joseph Millett comes up this year being at its Doctrine and Covenants, but maybe, maybe not. But yeah, when Heavenly Father looks down, he's like, this person needs help. Who can I send them to? Oh, there's Lorraine. I'll send them to her because she'll help them. That's who I want to be. I want to be thought of as that person. I want to be useful and productive and just I love doing it. I don't do it for reward. I'm not looking for thanks. I just want to help, to be kind, because I love doing that. That's what makes me happy. So if you want a desire, if you want to be called to the work, ask and just have that desire. All right, that's how that works. Okay, I think we're going to skip over to chapter 5 for the next two, so I'll see you there.